Cape. The service is strictly reserved for close family members and other relatives. Other mourners, including government officials, politicians, men and women of the cloth, and the general public, are expected to pack the University of Fort Hare's Sports Centre, where the actual funeral service will be held. Reverend Stofile passed away at his home on Monday last week. For more, let's cross over now to our reporter, Unathi Binkose in Alice. Unathi, I believe that you're going to be joined by some guests now.
Yes, indeed, Leanne. Another warm welcome to all our viewers. Indeed, we are coming to you live from a very, very somber Alice as we are bidding farewell to one of its prominent residents, Reverend Makhenkesi Stofile, former Eastern Cape Premier, former Sports Minister, just to name but a few of the positions he has held. But I now have a pleasure of being joined by a family spokesperson, Simpiwe Mshe. He was part of the service that is currently underway right now and is going to give us a sneak preview of what has been going on since then. So a very good morning to you and a warm welcome to this broadcast. Tell me, how are you? I understand that it's a very emotional moment for the family.
It is a very emotional moment, but the family has had overwhelming support from friends, family, colleagues, messages from around the world, visitors from all over South Africa. So, the family hasn't been alone in this really difficult time.
Well, it's a very intimate service, this one, I would expect. How is the family holding up? How's the widow and, of course, Umakhulu?
They're holding up. It's a tough time, as I've said, but they're holding up. They've got the right support. I think it's about getting through today. It promises to be a very dignified service, promises to be a big service, and we're just hoping that everything goes according to plan. It started off well. The body has arrived and the prayer service is in full swing, and we'll probably leave here in about an hour to go to the Fort Hare Sports Complex.
Lovely. Just before I let you go, former Germany ambassador, any international guests that will be coming through?
I would expect a lot from especially the sporting world, the sporting fraternity. Some names have been thrown about, but I think we'll see as the day progresses, who comes to pay their respects.
So thank you very much. Let's allow you to get back to work. As we welcome Minister Tata Sibambazbeng. As we welcome Minister to this broadcast, we are now joined by Minister of Defense, Mapisa-Nqakula. She's not just a comrade to Tata Stofile, but she's also a very, very close family friend. We've had some engagements with her, but we now have a pleasure of being joined by her again. Ma'am, a very good morning to you and another warm welcome.
My name is Matt.
Tell me, how do you feel? How are you?
Well, as you would expect, it's a sad day for all of us, particularly those who have been in the trenches with him. Remember, much as we are related here, but what for me is uppermost is that this has been my comrade, a comrade I've known for over 30 years. When we launched the UDF in this region, in the border region, in the 80s, he was the publicity secretary of the UDF. He is somebody who worked in the underground of the ANC. A number of people saw him just as an ordinary priest, an academic, and a spokesperson of the UDF. But actually, what they did not know that this was somebody who was deep in the underground of the African National Congress. Somebody would be the one who was directing the struggle literally in the Eastern Cape here and had a lot of influence in the whole of South Africa in the mass democratic movement. This is somebody who would bring in messages and tell you exactly what to do. This is somebody who would, if something were to happen and they got to know about it, or somebody had been arrested and you had to leave, this was part of a committee that would sit and take decisions that so-and-so must disappear, so-and-so must leave the country now because that so-and-so has become a risk. So this is the kind of person we are talking about. So he was an underground worker, he was a mass mobilizer, he was deep in MK, but also he played a big role in mobilizing international solidarity for the African National Congress. You'll recall that at one point when the Springboks were going to tour Australia, the rugby team, he was in the forefront of mobilizing against that tour. So this is somebody who's lived all four pillars of our struggle. that of mass mobilization, that of the underground, that of the armed struggle, and that of international mobilization. So Stoff will always be an icon of our struggle. He belongs to the category of the Mandelas. When we talk about icons, at times we tend to think that we're talking about those who lived for 27 years in prison. Yes, Tata Matiba will always be our icon. He's the father of this revolution, Tata Sisulu, Tata Mhlaba, Tata Omgov. But I can assure you, the likes of Stofile, he belongs to that grouping, the groups of OR. But there's something which I've always admired about Comrade Stoff, is that he would always remind those who come after him that there's something called the pecking order in the African National Congress. And when you say, what's this pecking order? I'll recall that one time when he was under pressure in 1991 at the Durban conference, when all of us were saying he should avail himself to become the Secretary General of the ANC. He said there's something called the packing order. At the time, you'll recall that Datunzo was retiring. And so there was a scramble. But finally, anyway, we ended up with Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. But Stoff was a very humble person. Humility is what he represented. I don't know how to describe him, but honesty as well. Stoff was very brutally frank too. And he didn't mind that you differed with him or you disagreed, but if he believed that what he was saying was correct, that was it. So you can walk away with a smile or you can walk away with anger. It's up to you. He was that kind of person.
Impeccable liberation struggle credentials, and his passing sadly at the time when the movement is seemingly struggling. 100 years of its existence, 20 years of governance, and seemingly its power is being whittled a little bit, judging by the results of these local government elections. Lessons we can learn from his life and what can be done going forward.
I think that what I can say we have learned from these elections, the results, is that it's important all the time in your life to always take a pause, reflect, re-strategize, and see how best to strengthen yourself. My view is that yes, we may not have performed well in the metros, which is very, very unfortunate, I believe, but I think that this should serve to us as a lesson. Those of us who are in leadership of the African National Congress, we should be able we must be honest, we must be brutally frank with ourselves, we must conduct an introspection. In fact, we have done that at the last National Executive Committee meeting, which was a 4-day meeting, where we actually identified what our challenges are. And we did not look at the external factors. We started first with dealing with ourselves internally. What are the major challenges we have in our structures of the organization, but amongst ourselves even as leaders? And I think we were quite open with one another, and that which needs to be done. There's something called gatekeeping. A lot of the people were talking about manipulation of lists, gatekeeping, people who are preventing other comrades who feel threatened by having certain people in the structures of the movement. These are some of the things which we need to do away with. It's a new culture in the ANC. Of course, there is this perception which really you can almost say everybody believes in, and beyond that, we need to appreciate that maybe it's not just a perception, maybe a reality, that corruption is entrenched in our governance structures, started from local up. So we need to be very, very aggressive in dealing with those. But Unati, I must remind you that it's not as though we don't have an anti-corruption strategy. We have them. We have structures which deal with that. So we may have faltered there and there, but it's not as though government is doing nothing about it.
And I was actually referring in lessons we can perhaps draw from the life of Dr. Stofile.
Honesty,
dealing with that.
Integrity, loyalty to the cause, and I think that's, and commitment. He had a deep sense of commitment, both to his family and to the people of South Africa.
Ma'am, let us not take up any more of your time. Thank you for availing yourself at such a short notice. Thank you very much. Well, that was Defence Minister Mapisa-Nqakula. As you perhaps can see behind me, this session is just about done. We are now about to move down to the University of Fort Hare Sports Ground, where the actual funeral service is expected to take place. It is going to be an official funeral. It is going to be done with military precision, meaning that time management is going to be of paramount importance. But it's going to be a very, very colorful affair. You understand that those in academia and those who are graduates of the institution of Fort Hare have been encouraged to put on their academic regalia. And of course, he was a sports person, and we do expect to see a lot of color. He was very active in rugby in this part of the border region, and of course across the country. So it's going to be a very, very colorful affair, and we are going to take it forward. I understand that my colleagues down at the university, Tammy Dixon, Iviwe Poti, as well as Busisiwe Jemsana, will be able to carry that forward on Channel 404. But for now, it's a wrap from myself, Unati Bingose, and of course the cameraman Ubulelani Scott. It's back to you guys in studio.